বাংলাদেশ বেতার। একটু পরেই শুনবেন খবর ইংরেজিতে।
Assalamu alaikum. 9:30 p.m. This is Bangladesh Betar. The news read by Mir Akramuddin Ahmed. First, the headlines. Nation celebrates Golden Jubilee of Independence with colorful events. President and Prime Minister pay homage to martyrs. Prime Minister administers oath to nation for building a prosperous, non-communal Shonar Bangla as dreamt by Father of the Nation. Blood of martyrs cannot go in vain, and all-out efforts will be made to uphold the spirit of liberation, says Sheikh Hasina. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid urges all to perform duties with honesty and sincerity to reach fruit of independence to all. Relation between Bangladesh and India is based on friendship and respect, says Indian President Ramnath Kovind. Information and Broadcasting Minister expresses determination to take country to Bangabandhu's dream destination, overcoming conspiracies and obstacles. An Asian Hockey Champions Trophy, India face arch-rival Pakistan, while Bangladesh take on South Korea in Dhaka tomorrow. Now the details. The nation is celebrating the Golden Jubilee of Victory and various colorful arrangements today. The country was liberated from Pakistani occupation forces on the day 50 years back after a 9-month-long blood-stained liberation war. On December 16 in 1971, Bangladesh was born as an independent country under the leadership of Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, at the cost of supreme sacrifice of 30 lakh people and the honor of 2 lakh women. The celebration of the Victory Day this year has added a new dimension as the day is being celebrated coinciding with 2 giant celebrations, birth centenary of Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and Golden Jubilee of country's independence. On the occasion of the joyous Victory Day, President Mohammad Abdul Hamid and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina have greeted the countrymen living at home and abroad. They issued separate messages on the occasion, paying glowing tributes to the martyrs of the Liberation War in 1971. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina have paid homage to the martyrs of the Liberation War, placing wreaths at the National Mausoleum at Savar, outskirts of the capital, with the rise of the sun. Later, Sheikh Hasina, on behalf of the Awami League, paid homage to the martyrs along with the leaders and activists of the party. The Prime Minister later went to Dhanmondi, the capital, and paid tribute to Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, placing wreaths at the portrait of the great leader in front of Bangabandhu Memorial Museum. The countrymen have taken oath to establishing a developed and prosperous country of non-communal spirit as dreamed by Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, marking the Golden Jubilee of Victory and Mujib Year. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina administered the oath to the nation at a ceremony at the South Plaza of Jatiya Shangsha this afternoon, while the people of all walks of life joined the ceremony from across the country. The oath-taking ceremony was organized as part of the 2-day special programs by Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's birth centenary celebration National Implementation Committee, with the theme, The Great Hero of the Great Victory. In the old Sheikh Hasina said, Bangladesh achieved its independence through a blood-spattered war of liberation led by father of the nation, Bangabandhu, against Pakistani rulers, and the Bengalis established unique nationhood in the world stage. She firmly mentioned that the blood of the martyrs cannot go in vain. Rather, all our efforts will be made to love the country and ensure welfare of the people. Referring to the historic 7th March speech, she mentioned that the freedom-loving people followed directives of the great leader. The Prime Minister also mentioned proclamation of independence by Bangabandhu on the first hour of the 26th March 1971. She said many countries and their people, including India and Russia, stood beside Bangladesh during the War of Liberation. Prime Minister Sheikh has vowed to establish Bangladesh as a prosperous and developed country, being imbued with the spirit of the Liberation War with new exaltation, as dreamt by father of the nation. She was addressing the main event of the celebration of Golden Jubilee of Victory and the Mujib Year at the South Plaza of Jatiya Sanshad in Dhaka this evening. In her speech, the Premier elaborated long struggles of the Bengalis under the leadership of Bangabandhu, starting from the language movement to the Great War of Liberation. She mentioned that the great leaders stood before the death, time and again, to liberate the country and established rights of the people. Sheikh Hasina said Bangladesh could not achieve its desired development and progress in the last 50 years as Bangabandhu was brutally assassinated along with most of his family members in 1975. She said Bangladesh witnessed tremendous success in socio-economic front due to her government's massive steps following the footprints of Bangabandhu. The Prime Minister said, as a result, country's per capita income has now reached to $2,554. About religious harmony in the country, she said, the government has established Bangladesh with non-communal spirit, following the ideals of Bangabandhu, and ensured performing rituals and festivals freely by the people of all faiths. Sheikh Hasina said her government has been working with zero-tolerance policy in containing terrorism, militancy, and drugs. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid has urged all to perform their duties with honesty and sincerity to reach the fruit of independence to the doorsteps of the countrymen. He also emphasized on building competent leadership apart from establishing ideals, ethics and principles. The President was speaking at the program titled The Great Hero of the Great Victory, marking the birth centenary of Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and Golden Jubilee of the Victory in the capital this evening. Speaking of the discussion, the Indian President said the relation between Bangladesh and India is based on friendship and respect. On the occasion, Bangabandhu's younger daughter, Sheikh Rehana, presented the Shraddha Shahrukh Mujib Chirantan to the guest of honor. This is Bangladesh Betar, giving you the news. Meanwhile, a spectacular parade was held at the National Parade Ground in the capital this morning, marking the Great Victory Day. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid took salute of the participant contingents of various forces. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and Indian President Ramnath Kovind also attended the parade. Information and Broadcasting Minister Awami League Joint General Secretary Dr. Hassan Mahmood has expressed determination to take the country in a destination dreamt by Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, under the leadership of Sheikh Hasina, overcoming all conspiracies, evil forces and obstacles. He stated this to Newsmain after placing wreath on the portrait of Bangabandhu at Dhanmondi in Dhaka today, marking the Golden Jubilee of the Victory. The Minister said the success of Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and his daughter Sheikh Hasina is that Bangladesh left behind Pakistan in all indices. 3 more people died of coronavirus in the country in 24 hours till 8 a.m. today, bringing the death toll from the pandemic to 28,041. A press release of the Director General of Health Services disclosed this in Dhaka today. It said 257 fresh cases were diagnosed as 25,203 samples were tested in 24 hours. Meanwhile, the death toll from COVID-19 has crossed 53,48,000 globally. The number of confirmed cases exceeded 27 crore 25 lakh around the world. Hockey and 2 matches of the Asian Champions Trophy will be held tomorrow. The two arch-rivals, Pakistan and India, will face each other in the first match of the day at Maulana Fashani National Hockey Stadium in Dhaka. Meanwhile, host Bangladesh will take on South Korea at the same venue at 6 p.m. Finally, weather in Focus Valley 1 tonight says there is no England Liverpool warning and no signal is to be horsed at. To end the news, the main points again. Nation celebrates Golden Jubilee of Independence with colorful events. President and Prime Minister pay homage to martyrs. Prime Minister administers oath to nation for building a prosperous, non-communal Shonar Bangla as dreamt by father of the nation. Blood of martyrs cannot go in vain, and all-out efforts will be made to uphold the spirit of liberation, says Sheikh Hasina. President Mohammad Abdul Hamid urges all to perform duties with honesty and sincerity to reach fruit of independence to all. Relation between Bangladesh and India is based on friendship and respect, says Indian President Ramnath Kovind. Information and Broadcasting Minister expresses determination to take country to Bangabandhu's dream destination, overcoming conspiracies and obstacles. And Asian Hockey Champions Trophy, India face arch-rival Pakistan while Bangladesh take on South Korea in Dhaka tomorrow. That's the end of the news. Our next bulletin will be at 11 p.m. in Bangla.
Now here is the news commentary written by Nuzrul Islam and read by Ashiquz Zaman. Today, the 16th December, is our great victory day. Bangladesh has completed 50 years of her victory this year. On this day in 1971, the Pakistani army led by General A.K. Niazi surrendered to the joint forces of Bangladesh and India at Daden Historic Racecourse Maidan, now Sohrawardi Uddan. This year, the day bears special significance as we are also celebrating the birth centenary of Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The victory came after a 9-month of war against the Pakistani occupation forces who launched the brutal genocide on Anam Bangalis on March the 25th in 1971. Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman declared independence at the early hours of the 26th March, initiating the War of Independence. However, resistance against the marauding Pakistani forces had started earlier as the students and activists of Awami League put barricades all over the Dhaka city. The forces at Raja Bajar Police Line and Daden EPR headquarters at Pilkhana also put resistance with their traditional arms and ammunition against the heavily armed Pakistani army. Many of the brave Bengali members of police and EPR sacrificed their lives on their fateful night. The practical war started. However, a psychological war was going on since Bangabandhu launched a non-corporation movement after his historic speech at the Racecourse Maidan on March the 7th, when Mujib declared, "The struggle this time is the struggle for our emancipation. The struggle this time is a struggle for independence." He also asked his people to fight the occupation forces with whatever they had until they were completely defeated. The seeds of the liberation war were sown in the early days of Pakistan after the partition of British India. The rulers of newly formed Pakistan had started showing the stepmotherly attitude against the Bengalis of the eastern part of Pakistan. Then came the question of state language. The Pakistani leaders unilaterally tried to impose Urdu as the lone state language of Pakistan, although the majority people of Pakistan were Bangla speaking. The young Sheikh Mujib, a student of Dhaka University, got understand that the strong organization were required to challenge the unilateral and unjust decision of the Pakistani ruler. He first formed Chhatra League in 1948 and then Awami League in 1949 to counter the ruling Muslim League. The following 23 years were the struggle for achieving basic rights of the people. Under the undaunted leadership of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib, the Bengali nation got prepared for the independence through language movement movement of 1948 to 1952, education movement of 1962, 6-point demand of 1966, and 11-point movement and mass upsurge of 1969. The Awami League secured an absolute majority in the general elections of 1970. However, Pakistanis did not allow the Bengali nation to assume the state power. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib realized that the oppression, persecution and deprivation meted out to the Bengali nation would not be ended without achieving independence. Soon after the declaration of independence, Pakistani forces arrested Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib and took him to West Pakistan. As per the decision, the senior leaders of Awami League crossed into India and prepared for a guerrilla war. The first government of People's Republic of Bangladesh was formed with Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman as the president, Syed Nazrul Islam as the vice president, and Tajuddin Ahmed as the prime minister. The government was sworn in without Sheikh Mujib on 17th April at the historic Mujibnagar and led the liberation war. We earned the ultimate victory on 16 December by defeating Pakistani occupation forces and their local collaborators Rajakar, Al-Badr and Al-Shams. We have gotten our red-green flag. On the 51st Victory Day, let us come and take fresh vow to fulfill the aspirations and dreams of our millions of martyrs. And that's the end of the news commentary.